lingerie. Little girls learn us at their mother's knee. For about a year, we did nothing, musically anyway, not that anyone heard. We lived on the top of a mountain in Ireland.
Sounds nice.
And did a lot of painting and sculpture and gardening and that sort of stuff. And then we spent a year traveling and got to a lot of strange places, India and North Africa and Mexico and that sort of thing.
And we had a baby as well. Well, I had the baby.
He contributed, yes.
Yes. And so, you know, that was a big event. And we we got to the point where we got really bored with our music. We felt like we were sort of being coerced into it, going a real MOR, sort of corporate thing. I don't know, we started to get really uncomfortable and we got too far away from our roots, I think. So we just stopped and thought, let's rethink the whole thing. And then Warner Brothers came to us and said, here's a pile of money, go make the sort of record you really want to make, which is like every musician's dream. So then we went and made Big Trash. Sugar daddy gonna make you happy. Sugar daddy gonna make it nice.
I'm curious to know how the travel that you did influenced your writing. I mean, do you specifically find yourself looking at the places you go through the eyes of songwriters, and do you absorb things and then have them specifically come out?
No, we just go away and have a ball, and get ourselves in trouble, and, you know, do other things that have nothing to do with
music. But
music.
it's interesting, the places we choose to visit are the ones where we think we'll get the maximum shock value out of it by, you know, wow, this is so different and weird. It's forcing me to rethink my prejudices and like views of how people should live and shouldn't live and all those things. So we're not traveling to relax or have our ideas reinforced, rather to have them blasted wide apart.
Right. Welcome to Alana Curry and Tom Bailey from the Thompson Twins. Nice to have you back. It's been a while.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
I'm going to ask you, as everyone else has, I'm sure, what have you been up to in the time off?
Well, what did we do?
Well, for about a year, we did nothing, musically anyway, not that anyone heard. We lived on the top of a mountain in Ireland.
Sounds nice.
And did a lot of painting and sculpture and gardening and that sort of stuff. And then we spent a year traveling and got to a lot of strange places, India and North Africa and Mexico and that sort of thing.
And we had a baby as well. Well, I had the baby.
He contributed, yes.
Yes. And so, you know, that was a big event. And we got to the point where we got really bored with our music. We felt like we were sort of being coerced into it, going a real MOR, sort of corporate thing. I don't know, we started to get really uncomfortable and we got too far away from our roots, I think. So we just stopped and thought, let's rethink the whole thing. And then Warner Brothers came to us and said, here's a pile of money, go make the sort of record you really want to make, which is like every musician's dream. So then we went and made Big Trash, you know.
Now, you've spoken about a lack of artistic freedom. How does that happen to a band as successful as the Thompson Twins?
Well, you know, it's success that brings a lack of freedom, ironically, because when you have a hit or another hit, people say, that was great, why don't you do another one like that?
Of course.
And, you know, it's no one specifically, but there's a general feeling that people are watching you to make sure you go the same way in order to sell more records again. And that's no fun for us, because songs happen magically, you know?
Yeah.
There's no formula, it's just a magic moment. It's impossible to repeat. And if you try and do it, it's a sort of it's a dishonest thing.
Yeah.
Plus you get too busy, you get really worn down. I mean, if what you're doing is like writing and recording and touring, writing, recording, touring, you're not doing anything else. You're not going to art galleries, you're not going to movies, you're not traveling, you're not meeting people who have nothing to do with music.
Being a musician is so boring, is what they say.
They will not believe that at home, and you know that.
No. Well, it's just you get caught up in that thing. Like we did 7 years, more or less, on the road. And suddenly, you know, you're just not hanging around and doing the things that inspired you in the first place. So you really do need to take time off, go away, do some other things, and like come back when you've got something to say. When you listen to the charts, there's so much homogenous rubbish, and you know those people are just like squeezing every last ounce of nothingness out of themselves, and they even start writing songs about being on the road.
Oh, please, yes.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of that, now I'm curious to know how the travel that you did influenced your writing. I mean, do you specifically find yourself looking at the places you go through the eyes of songwriters, and do you absorb things and then have them specifically come out?
No, we just go away and have a ball, and get ourselves in trouble, and, you know, do other things that have nothing to do with music.
But it's interesting, the places we choose to visit are the ones where we think we'll get the maximum shock value out of it by, you know, wow, this is so different and weird. It's forcing me to rethink my prejudices and like views of how people should live and shouldn't live and all those things. So we're not traveling to relax or have our ideas reinforced, rather to have them blasted wide apart.
Right.
But we had one sort of very direct influence was we went to Mexico when the Day of the Dead festival was on. There's some fantastic artwork. I mean, it's really lurid, bright things, and they do like skulls out of sugar icing and
a lot of building of shrines with really intricate decoration and stuff.
But weird, really lurid colours and a lot of like cake icing and things in them, you know, that great, like really high trash, wonderful. So I sort of came back and took those ideas and did the record cover. You know, had the Virgin Mary playing electric guitar with big trash and pink cake
all the flowers
icing
around, yeah.
and flowers, and made it so it's got a slightly sort of Mexican warped London feel about it.
Okay, now you see, to me, just in listening to the record, if there was a theme to it, it almost seemed like a reaction to American culture. Is that just my interpretation?
Don't be paranoid, don't be paranoid.
He's not American.
Sure he is.
No, he's not.
North American culture. Well, it's a
well,
hybrid.
trash. I mean, the high trash that we're talking about, like the real big trash. You know, the limousines and, well, the Pope isn't quite, but, you know...
Television.
You know, well, yeah, and, you know, Uncle Sam and all the glitterati, I suppose, is fairly urban American. The Americans do it best, really, in terms of, you know, Hollywood and glitz and stuff like that.
I disagree, but there you go. I think everyone in the West does it.
Yeah.
And
but America does it best, and so that's why it sort of had that flavour. But it wasn't a reaction against it. It's like enjoying it. But it's sort of saying this is the trash aspect. I mean, it's really fun if you get into it just on a really superficial level. It sort of gets a bit serious and creepy, and there's underlying horrible things going on.
We have the first video here for Sugar Daddy. Do you want to tell us about the video itself?
Sure. Well, the song, you know, although it's quite a sugary song, the message is quite disturbing. You know, it's about, I guess it's about sexual manipulation, you know, affection traded for power. And as with all those sort of power game relationships, there's always a sugar coating, so that's why the song is so sugary, but the message so bizarre.
And the video is funny. I wanted to be the angel of death in it with a black guitar and wings, but I kept getting stuck up there and screaming to get down, and so we had to lose some of those shots. And then I wanted this, built this enormous 12-foot skirt. I wanted to have these old sort of leery old men coming out from under my skirts and stuff like that. And they edited that down to sort of make it a bit more acceptable.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Let's
but
take
the
a
long
look.
version.
You're kind of a lovable angel of death, I have to say.
I wanted to be the original Hell's Angel. It didn't quite come off. I always get disappointed by our videos.
Yeah, you didn't take your role to its darkest extreme.
I think that's great.
We like it. I gather that you also did some work with other artists, Debbie Harry in particular, who ended up returning the favor. Is that correct?
That's right. We worked on her album, and she did a little tiny guest appearance on ours, which was actually a phone call.
Right.
We were recording in London, the UK, but she called from New York to do her part, which was
phoning in her part. Musicians have always wanted to do that.
Yeah, no, it was great because she's really funny. We wrote a song for her called "I Want That Man," and there was a line in it saying, "I want to be Queen of the USA. Send me roses every other day." So when we were recording it in the boring moment, she would sort of do this bizarre impersonation of a bag lady, which was, you know, blonde bombshell turns bag lady, and it seemed like a really funny combination. So we wrote this song called "Queen of the USA." That sort of combines Deborah with the Virgin Mary with the bag lady, sort of, and a biker woman as well, and created this character who we thought should be Queen of America.
That's a strange combination.
Yeah, but it was a good one. It's that sort of person I think, you know, if they ever got a queen, they ought to have that sort of one.
Debbie Harry as Queen of the USA, I kind of like that. Yeah. Now, we were just actually talking about Greenpeace recently, and I know that the two of you have been involved in Greenpeace. You made a contribution to the Rainbow Warriors record, among other things. How has the issues, say, of Greenpeace touched your lives?
It's probably because we had a child. You know, as soon as you have a baby, you start thinking what the world's going to be like in 20 years' time.
And also hanging out with the Greenpeace people, who are all really on the case. You know, they know what they're doing. They're very, very precise and clear and intelligent. So hanging out with them, you get talking about the whole thing.
Yeah, and they're not depressing. You know, so many environmentalist groups or people, you know, go, oh, it's really terrible, there's nothing we can do about it. And they've just got, like, great solutions to almost every environmental problem you can think of. Plus, they're activists. They don't just sit around and talk about it. They get out there and do stuff. So we've just been helping them, like, promote that album all around the world because they're trying to open offices in Brazil and Russia. And so we've been going there and sort of go, buy this record, buy this record. And we've been doing bits of paperwork for them and really, you know, dull behind-the-scenes things.
But they're great. They really are great.
You know, it's not really working for Greenpeace. It's like working for us.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody, you know. We don't sort it out. Nobody's going to.
Very positive involvement. Speaking of working behind the scenes, you did a little work behind the scenes last time you were here at Much Music. I recall.
You're not going to
I
show
learned
that.
to operate a camera.
I wouldn't dream of rolling that footage right now.
Oh, no.
Would I? Oh, there it is.
Oh, there's Joe.
Can we see it on the monitor here?
Oh,
Days of Thompson Twins past.
Am I on there?
Yes,
Oh, I'm
you're
Alana from the Thompson Twins, and I'm here with these other two twits doing this show. And
You gonna put up with that?
commercials are really
Even in the
boring.
past?
And that Sun City video was really good. I thought that's one of my favorites. And they needn't bother asking us to play Sun City because we won't play either until they get their apartheid situation sorted out. So, what am I doing now? Oh, yes. The next video you're going to see is one that Joe picked, and it's by Mr. and it's called Broken Wings. And I don't like it very much, but Joe does. So perhaps you could go back to him and ask him why. Come on, Joe, tell us why you like this
Look, am
video.
I operating the camera or what?
No, you're saying why you like this video.
I think it's a good video, like an on-the-road James Dean. It's the typical American classic.
I hate it. I think it reminds me of Jonathan Livingston Seagull with those birds.
I'll take
I'm
that.
horrible, actually. They'll probably beat me up next time I see
Can
them.
I tell you, I don't know, I think the car's great. It's a good car.
There we have
so
it.
watch out for
Just
the
a little
car.
bit of
Here we
memory
go.
for you.
Oh, great.
Oh, there you go. Have you seen Joe lately?
Yeah, we actually saw him last
Last week.
weekend.
We stayed with him last week.
And he's
in the
cut all
night.
his locks off. He's got like this really bald head. It looks brilliant. It's really weird.
He was very involved with theater before the band started.
Yeah, and
Is he
he's
back doing that?
He's just in a movie, Slaves to New York.
He had like
yeah.
a little bit, and he's getting other bit parts. He's really got to work it to get his career together in acting. You know?
But
That's why he cut all
he's in
his
great
hair off.
form, you know. It was good to see him, and he looks great.
Are you going to take the trash on the road, so to speak?
The big trash tour. Well, we're having this huge argument at the moment, which is
Not here, I hope.
no. We want to go on tour, but we want to do it in a completely different way. I mean, I don't think we want to be like a rock and roll band type tour. We want to do something. Well, I have this idea that we should travel around the world to major cities and have outrageous sort of club parties, like have surrealist trash balls everywhere, and then get up and like do some sort of stuff. But Tom thinks the whole idea of parties is really sick. But I mean, it'd be great to tour around the world and have parties instead of tour around and play stupid instruments all the time. We've done that already about 500,000 times.
And Tom, your vision of the Thompson Twins' future?
Oh.
There we have it.
She's dead right. We're looking for a new way of doing it because just to carry on where we left off would be boring for us, boring for our audience. You know? So we can find something that challenges us, some new problem, you know, how to do it live. Then it'll be great for everyone else by definition. So.
Well, we'll look forward to having you return to these shores in whatever format
Thanks.
it
I mean,
takes.
if we do the balls, the parties, the clubs, the rock and roll gigs, I mean, we'll definitely come and play.
And you're all invited.
Yes, you can all come.
Now, you asked for Revolution. Why that particular video?
Just because it's got a lot of energy. I quite like it. And I haven't seen it for ages, so I thought, may as well use your monitors to have a look at it.
Neither have we.
Oh.
Thank you both very much for coming by
Thanks a
today.
lot.
Thanks.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Good to be here.
Revolution, the Thompson Twins from Much Music.